Hello, good morning. Joseph Atta is my name. Speaking to you live from Ghana, West Africa. You are all welcome to my program, Mining for the Truth, which refers to the process of digging to discover the undiluted doctrines of Christ. I attend Church of Christ. The page has two purposes as follows. 1, to share the word. 2, to share the truth. You can also go to YouTube, Joseph Atta's live show. After recording, then I post the same video also there. Please follow my page on Facebook and subscribe to my YouTube channel. I need 1,000 subscribers. Joseph Atta's live show. I welcome all my listeners and viewers, Australia, Dubai, USA, Nigeria, South Africa, India, everywhere in Ghana and the world. Thank you for making the time to join me each time I am online to share the gospel of Christ. I welcome officially Doris Odonko, Mrs. Atta. I love you so much, knowing very well that you also reciprocate. We are going to continue our teachings in this December. It was started last week. The theme is train up the child in the Lord. Train up the child in the Lord. And the topic is responsible parenthood. So text is only one. Proverbs 22 verse 6. Last week was introduction. And we're going to look at about 10 episodes. So the introduction was episode 1. Today will be episode 2. People are viewing, and thank you for your support. I thank all those who have been donating to support the program. Now today will be episode 2. Episode 2. The concept of train up. The concept of train up. Today my camera is in the opposite direction. Sometimes, normally I was recording with the selfie mode, the front. So in teaching, you see that my right becomes left and my left becomes right. Not all viewers will understand. So today I tried to turn my camera backward. So today I think here is my right as my right. This will be my left as my left. I suppose so. All right. The concept of train up. So today we are going to look at the phrase train up. You will, by the end of the lesson, the learner will know the 4 stages. So the 4 stages of train up. So there are 4 stages when you consider train up. The meaning of the acronym TRAIN. When you hear of TRAIN, T.R.A.I.N, how do you understand it? Of course, I have formed or I've defined each word. So at the end, you're going to understand. And then the last one is to know the 15 precautions of train up the child. Or someone will say 15 precautions on train up the child. So first things first, the concept of train up. The Hebrew word for the phrase train up is kaunak, C-H-A-N-A-K. But the pronunciation is K-A-W. That's what I'm saying, kaunak, which depicts dedication to discipline. So the Hebrew word for the phrase train up, as we read, okay, before that, let's go to Proverbs 22, verse 6. I forgot to read, sorry. Train up a child in the way he should go. Even when he is old, he will not depart from it. And we are trying to look at, once again, the Bible should not be read as a newspaper or graphic. We don't learn Bible as if you are seated by television and watching the news. You must have your Hebrew and Greek concordance. Some will go on further to add on good commentary, at least to read more about the subject in question. So the Hebrew word is kaunak for the phrase train up, which depicts dedication to discipline. When we say dedication, we mean devotion. Devotion to a discipline. So now let's define the trainer. I have defined it in my own way. So this one is in quote. Now, trainer is a facilitation based and the process of using gained expertise such as skills, knowledge, and personal experience to nurture an infant or a mentee into responsible adulthood, which involves a mentor and mentee. So this is in quotes, but we say that, of course, myself. Once again, I repeat, trainer is a facilitation based. So notify the word facilitation. Facilitation based and the process of using gained expertise such as skills, knowledge, and personal experience to nurture an infant or a mentee into responsible adulthood, which involves a mentor and mentee. Before we continue, I will have to explain the difference between teaching and training. Now, teaching is the method of educating someone or people. Educating someone or people. That's all. That's the whole essence of education. And training is the process of acquiring skills. So know the difference. Acquiring skills, knowledge, or experience. So teaching and training are not the same. Still on the training, it's a method of imparting knowledge and acquiring skills. So we have what to call teacher training, police training. You can say a military academy or military training. They didn't say military teaching, teacher teaching, but teacher training institution. We don't say teacher teaching institution, teacher training institution. So it could be a diploma level or the degree level. So teaching and training are not the same. And by way of trying to elaborate, my focus will be on teenage to young age, adulthood to old age. Now, teenage, I am trying to sum it up from when you were born to somewhere 19 years. Normally, when I was learning the text, I didn't capture the being a toddler. No. Because all what you do from when you were born till your teenage is what I focus on. So from the time that you were born to somewhere 12 years, it's not my concern for the Bible text. But rather when you are from 13 upwards. So we assume that from infancy you have acquired something from the mother. So we think that the training can begin from the infancy, but you are hereby informed that no military academy will accept an infant, a toddler, to train him or her. It is impossible. Now, what do you know as a child? You know nothing. You see? So the training, in my own view, I think, will start rather when you are self-conscious, you are aware of yourself. When you know yourself, that, oh, okay, this is evil, this is good. However, we are advised to start training our children from the young age. That is teaching. That one, you are trying to educate the person. That one is, in my own view, please, in my own view. So from when you were born till when you grew, maybe when you completed your junior high school, I saw all those parts to be education, or you were being educated. You were being educated. So they were trying to educate you. And no, mostly we don't find that children are sent into apprenticeship, unless otherwise. But in more cases, at least, your mind might be a bit matured. You know that this one is my master. They will have to educate you first to know that my mother is different from my master. This is a father, this is a mother, master, senior apprentice, all those stuff. How can you go and then train a 5-year child that master, father, brother? No. The mind is not yet matured. So please, don't think that I've deviated, that my interest is from teenage to young age. Yeah, teenage, because by then I suppose that you have grown and you can easily adapt to a change. So the education is from when the child was born. Bath your teeth, after bath your teeth, brush your teeth, go and bath, cap. This is iron, this is called TV. That was education. And when they have grasped the content, before we train, okay, that's why I'm saying that training is facilitation based. This is not normal teaching, so I don't want to deviate, but we have teaching and facilitation, or we have teaching and facilitating. Facilitating is not teaching, and a teacher is not a facilitator. This is what you must know. Of course, I am a graduate a teacher, so I know what I'm saying. I teach, I facilitate. So as you see me, I am a teacher, also a facilitator. That's why I'm saying that teaching is not facilitating. I have a way of teaching and I have a way of facilitating. So these are what you must know. I think I have to end there to continue my main subject, so that I will not deviate. So once again, I will define the train-up and then we move on. So train-up is a facilitation based and the process of using gained expertise such as skills, knowledge, personal experience to nurture an infant. When I say an infant, it could be a teenage, so someone who is young. I mean young, because I'm using this to refer to someone who is young. You mean there's an adult and then young, master and then apprentice, so you can say you are an infant. Into or a mentee into a responsible adulthood, which involves a mentor and mentee. Now, just as a master craftsman successfully trains an apprentice to also become a master without deviating or digressing throughout his or her entire life, likewise, a properly trained child will never deviate or digress from his or her parents' instructions or principles. Yes, we hear many stories that the child has left the faith and marry, we say intermarry. So someone has gone to marry from a different church, and maybe we will capture it. Maybe we may capture it. But we are saying that in training, now let's consider a mentor and mentee. We mean a master and apprentice. No apprentice will deviate or will digress. If we are learning auto mechanics, you learn to become an auto mechanic. You see, so you cautiously learn what the master is teaching you. So don't deviate. There's no digression, never ever, because at the end you're going to graduate yourself and also become a master. So there's a master A and a master B. So your master is your master, but you're also a master equally. So if the child is trained properly in the home, how can he deviate or how can she deviate and even think of going outside to marry? This is virtually impossible unless the person was not trained well. Improper training is when the child will officially eschew the fundamental principles of the parent training to go elsewhere. No properly trained Christian, very good, it's even here. No properly trained Christian will marry an unbeliever or believer, irrespective of the scarcity of marriage. Did you hear that? We have unbeliever and believer. When you say unbeliever, you mean someone who does not believe in Christianity, in Islam, in Judaism. The person has no belief. And the believer is someone who is maybe into Islamic, into Buddhism, different faiths. And you are hereby also informed that unbeliever and believer are not Christians. A believer is not a Christian. An unbeliever is not a Christian. So whether you are an unbeliever or you are a believer, they are not Christians. So why would a Christian go and then mingle with unbeliever and a believer? For what? That you are of age. you are above age, we mean that maybe the men in the church are not marrying you. So out of frustration, she or he, precisely the women, so I will even use the she goes out and then marry from any other church or from anywhere because the person is hungry for marriage. Marry a heathen. When we say heathen, we mean unbeliever. Marrying a heathen is a conflict itself. It is a conflict itself. It is the same as an animal which has been skinned alive. Means that the animal has no leather. And it is in the leather that we have the hair to cover the animal during cold weather. So if we're a Christian who goes out to marry a heathen, conflict will start. One can easily lose salvation. It is a miscalculated risk that you are going to marry an unbeliever or a believer. The marriage itself is conflict. Number two, you can easily lose your salvation. Number three, it is a miscalculated risk. It is practically foolishness to marry an unbeliever, impulsive due to delayed marriage. Ephesians 5 verse 15 to 17. This one I won't even open about, which is always in my mind. Be careful how you walk as wives, not a fool, redeeming the time because the days are evil. Therefore, do not be foolish, but understand what the will of the Lord is. Be careful how you walk as wives, not a fool means that be careful with your socialization, whom you choose to mingle with. 2. The verse 16. Redeeming the time because the days are evil. Utilize the time that others have been wasting. Time is the cheapest commodity. When you lose it, you cannot regain it. So be careful how you spend your time. It should be spent wisely and profitably than being misled. That, oh, don't worry, you can marry the person and then you will teach him or maybe use your a lifestyle to bring him back to the faith. What if he does not? Remember, in marriage, the husband has the supreme say. Mostly, the wife must be submissive to the husband, and the husband decides. Sometimes you are even to stop your church and go to his church. You can imagine the drama here. That's what I'm saying, that it is practically foolishness. You are leaving Church of Christ to throw someone into his church. That person is already an antichrist. We have no linkage with the believer and then the unbeliever. That's always we are preaching to them that they must refrain from being brainwashed. One man cannot establish a church. And when Christ came to establish his kingdom, no church existed. No church. But Satan had to also implant his churches through human beings. So they began to invent churches. Why? To contradict or to counter-attack to Church of Christ, the one true church, in which when you stay faithfully, you go to heaven. Of course, Revelation 2 verse 10. So, as you see me, I have no love for an unbeliever and a believer. Never ever. It is impossible. So within the time, because the days are evil, if you are not careful, you'll be misled. You'll be brainwashed. If you are not careful. So the verse 15 and 16 are warning, they are caveat. And when you have refused to listen, then the verse 17 is saying that, therefore do not be foolish. Do not be foolish. But understand what the will of the Lord is. It means the will of the Lord is doing things right. Now, the phrase, therefore do not be foolish, means that pay heed to instructions in order to become wise. Simple. And when you are wise, it's when you will officially follow and do what God wants, the dictate of the Bible. In the olden days, the Israelites were warned not to marry a heathen. They were supposed to marry the Israelites. I'm a Christian. I will marry a Christian. In fact, now let's see the equation, and you marvel. A virgin, no, a Christian who is a prostitute is equal to a believer or an unbeliever who is a virgin. So as you see me, I will marry a Christian who is a prostitute than an unbeliever or believer who is a virgin. So you see the equation. Now, before we even go to the I, I'm still stressing that it is a miscalculated risk that a Christian, this means that you were not trained well. Any child, any Christian who goes out to marry was not properly trained by the parents. Now, psychologically, it means you're not matured. Having transcended from the flesh into holiness, you are now returning back. Any Christian who has been trained well, likewise an apprentice, never deviates unless you are not taught well. If you were taught well, you will never ever deviate. As the teaching goes on, we will see some parents who trained their children in the Lord. They lived and died in the Lord. You have no excuse to sit somewhere and debate that it is not your might to train a child, or when your child follows you by God's grace. Fine, it is true. But the Bible is saying that train. The Bible is saying train. So don't sit down there and be lazy. You become irresponsible when you refuse to train your child. Sit nowhere and then be content with excuses. Childish excuses that nowadays the generation is talking about. I think last week we saw it in my introduction. I have no linkage with the world, though I live in the world. So if you're my listener, my brother, my sister, my mother, whoever you are, my friend, and have you listened to me, I am calling you to leave your church. Be humble enough to leave your church. Baptize into a healthy church of Christ. Stay faithfully. When you die, you have salvation. During the days of Noah, God used only one ark. So don't tell me today that God is going to use different churches. You are a liar. For Wasi Remedial, I said for Wasi Media, for Wasi Adams, we have so many approved textbooks. You are hereby informed that at the end of your 3 years course, the examiner and the markers are using a marking scheme. So there's a marking scheme to mark what you have written. And in case your teacher polluted you, in case your school bought or used wrong textbooks, why if is not interested in that? They will fail you because they are using a marking scheme. All what you are going to write must fall within a marking scheme, or they will mark you down. There is a marking scheme to every exam, and the student does not suggest to the examiner and then the marker what they should do. No, their duty is to judge. When you fail, they fail you. Sometimes the child was not good, he was not repeated. But final exam, they will fail you because they were not in your school, so they didn't know whether you were good or not. They will fail. Even if your handwriting is not good, English will fail you. They care for nothing. So also what happened in the day of judgment, that God is going to use a marking scheme, irrespective of your brainwashing, your stubbornness and ignorance, not an excuse. God will use a marking scheme to judge you. And I'm saying that in the days of Noah, God used the ark to save mankind. Only eight were saved. Salvation was in the ark, not on the ark. And I can suppose that people were good swimmers then. Some were even good in forecasting the weather. When the rain started, I think that they made fun of the whole scenario. And it rained and rained and rained and rained. They swam and swam, some until they were tired. For how long are you swimming? For how long? Is it 1 day, 2 days, or 3 days? They were tired of the swimming and they died. They all died. The tree that some climbed into were uprooted by the water. So let's say someone was a good climber, so he climbed the strongest and tallest tree. The roots was exposed. Erosion took place and it was eroded. Therefore, it was taken over and swallowed by the water. One ark was used to save the world. So also God will use one church. You sit down there and then debate. Some will even choose to unfollow my teachings. I can't let my duty is to tell you the truth. So if you listen to me, have a change of mind. Be humble enough. Leave Satan alone. Get baptized. I can baptize you myself. I can baptize you. And then send it to my church. And I think they will be happy. The 4 stages of train-up. So we are on the I. 1. Observation. 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 So it is an act of recognizing and noting. Recognizing and noting. So what do you mean? You observe. You try to acknowledge. You carefully observe. Today we are looking at the meaning of train up, and here I am giving you 4 stages of train up. 1. Observation. We have what you call observational learning. If you are an engineer, it is best to go to the field to observe than to sit in the room and watch videos. It is when you go out there, you will see the reality of the tool or the machine, the device, how it is working on the equipment. By watching video, you are only trying to deceive yourself. So as you are watching, as you are observing, you acknowledge it. So the observation goes with seeing and watching. And observation is learning. That's why we say that it is an act of recognizing and noting. So you write something down or you take notice of it. It means to copy and learn. You copy and then you learn. Some will even make notes. Some will make sketches. We mean note taking will take place in there. That's why we're saying that. Recognize and noting. So the first is observation. 2, imitation. Now let's go back to the observation. What have you observed in life from your parents? As you see me, I saw my father carry water from the stream to where our brother was. I mean, in the bush. I observed how he washed his own clothes. And the children will also observe in the home how you send them to church, how you do morning devotion, how you pray with them before you sleep. Gradually, they will be observing. And if you are fond of watching TV, they will also grow up to become good at watching TV. And you see that if you go to some homes, the TV will be on from morning to the evening. The TV becomes so hot. Whether they are watching or not, it is on. It is on for what? It is on for what? Don't you have a library for the children to go and study? No timetable in the home for them to pause to go. We are not saying that they should learn all the time. But why are they watching TV or they are playing all the time? For what? You must have a library and timetable for them to read. There's time for everything. So observation here. 2, imitation. It refers to repeating verbatim of what has been learned. Repeating verbatim means step by step, word by word. They are imitating you. If you're teaching them the wrong thing, they are observing. The good thing to be observing, they are to imitate. So if we're gossip, they have observed and they will soon imitate. If you're a womanizer, they have observed and they will soon imitate. If you're a wife beater, a husband beater, they will observe and they will soon imitate. Repeating verbatim of what has been learned or what has been observed. That's why I'm saying that observation is learning. So what has been observed? Repeating verbatim of what they have observed or what they have learned. It involves a pattern to be strictly followed. Pattern. If you know pattern, when we consider design and making, you have what we call pattern or template, replica of what you want. It involves pattern to be strictly followed. So you mean you are laying down some principles, and by force they will also follow. The father is intubating, the children are also intubating, and equally the wife will also learn. So they start to pilfer. The moment you hide the money, and someone will go and pick it to take a bet. So if you go to the family, they are all gamblers. It is by observation, and they try to imitate what they learn from you. Now, 3, preservation. You observe, you imitate, and you preserve. In fact, here is even more dangerous. It is the process of keeping something valuable intact or free from damage. So you see, when you taught him gambling, he preserved it. He preserved it. We mean the person will try to hide it. It also refers to conservation, protection. He protected. Hey, so what happens as a choice? So means that in future I can marry and beat my wife. Or what an inheritance. So he becomes so happy that so far as he puts money on the table, he can then command the wife to cook. The food has kept long. Some will go on further to be so lazy that they cannot even peel their own oranges and mangoes or food to eat, except the wife does it. You have turned your wife into becoming a slave. There is no effort in peeling your own orange or your own food, or cutting your own vegetables to cook or eat. Because that's what he observed, what he imitated, and that's what he has also preserved. So preservation, you protect it with maximum effort. And then the last one is participation. It is the process of practicing what has been observed or learned, imitated, and preserved. So you can imagine the last one. Participation. The person is now going to put it into practice. Full practice. So that you see that he becomes a cartel, because the father was also a cartel member. He becomes a womanizer because the father was a womanizer. He becomes a polygamy because the father was cheating on the mother. He becomes a wife beater because the father, he saw his father beating the mother foolishly. She can also learn to cause abortion because she saw the mother also causing abortion. Participation. And then is where you are a parent, you see that, I've made a mistake. You see that all your effort becomes waste. I mean, you can imagine spending money to raise children to become fools in future. In your own presence, always there are reports. Intermittent reports. Your child has done this. He went to steal. She went to steal. She was fighting the mate. A whole lot of stories. You die of hypertension. So participation is crucial. To practice what has been observed or learned, imitated, and preserved. It also refers to role playing. The person is now a role player, an actor. So now he or she does exactly what she observed, imitated, and preserved. So they will say, like father, like son, like mother, like daughter. So disgracing that you can now see. Now, you thought that now you have grown. So the society has forgotten your misdeeds. Now it has resurfaced by your untrained child, unproperly trained child. They will say, oh, don't mind this boy or this girl. what he or she is doing is the same thing that the father or the mother also did when young, or when we were young. He was stubborn, so also the son also stubborn. She was manizer, so also the daughter is also manizer. Like father, like son, like mother, like daughter. The learner has now become a full adult. So when he has left the home to marry, once you have married, you are an adult. But so far as you stay in your parents' home, you are still under their care. But once you are married, you are on your own. And here is the most dangerous part, where the children will officially deviate if you didn't teach them better or train them well. They deviate entirely. If you had taught your child how to cook at the kitchen as a training, and you train him better to perfect some cooking skills, he will go to the marriage with it, and you always find him at the kitchen with the wife, or in the kitchen with the wife. At times I pity these young boys who don't like cooking, and then they rely on their parents. You see, if we're a mother, once your boy has rented his own apartment, stop cooking for him. At times it is funny to find that a whole mother will cook and send to the son to send home and eat. What do you mean by that? And you think that you are being a responsible mother. You are rather an irresponsible mother. At his age, if he's a teenager, why must you go and hire his own room? By hiring your room, you have begun your own life and future. You must be responsible. Pay water bills, cook, learn how to go to market, to buy food stuff to eat, to cook and eat. Buy your own prepaid, you are fully responsible. That is when you marry, you know home management. Then you can also train the wife. You don't leave the fan, this and that. You know nothing. How can you help your wife when she is pregnant? She is not allowed to go to the kitchen and cook. She is not allowed sometimes to go to the market to buy food stuff, to buy fish and others to cook. So if you have learned all this when you were unmarried, if your mother was sensible enough to have left you alone, or to have left you alone to cook on your own, to practice the cooking, you won't suffer in your marriage. So the mother is supposed to leave this child. So far as you have hired your own room, learn how to cook. Now, when the mother is aware that the son will leave home, maybe in 3 months' time, then you have to start to teach him how to cook. At least basic food to eat. Actually, you can prepare a stew, go out and buy food, and then you will add to the stew. But to buy from streets when you are living on your own means that you were untrained well. I was taught basic household chores when I was so young. I wasn't even somewhere 13 years. No, I was so young. How to prepare banku, how to prepare this, how to do this. Pano soup, rice, Uganda soup. So I'm not suffering when I'm alone. He or she never deviates or digresses. So in the participation stage, good or bad, the person will never deviate. This is when you have trained the person well. So you have seen 4 stages of train up: observation, imitation, preservation, and participation. I. The meaning of the acronym TRAIN. T means time. Make time to teach them morals and good attitude. Make time. You don't have time. No one has time in this life. We make time. So if you call me that you want to come and then, or you need me, I will ask you, what time do you need me? Then I can squeeze. By squeezing, so I'm trying to make. So we make time. None has time in this life. We make. That's why we say that. Make time to teach them what? The them is making reference to the children. Morals and good attitude. What values are you inculcating into your child? Good morals. Don't talk when eating a whole lot. Greet someone who is older than you. Stand in the bath for someone who is above you to sit down. Good morals and attitude. When you are greeting people, try to be humble. Show humility. You must teach him even how to greet other people. Good morals, good attitude. To give back or talk back. Children are not supposed to talk back. Even when the parents are angry, you don't talk back. I hate it a lot. Someone who talks back. I hate it in my life. And that's one thing my father hates most. To talk back to him. You are in trouble. He will not get you. You see, my father doesn't beat children, but he will stop to send you. He tries to limit his socialization with you. He hates it. A child who talks back. No matter what, teach your child that he or she must not talk back. It is gross indiscipline and disobedience, disrespect to talk back. And we have wives who talk back to their husband. I don't blame the husbands who go out to cheat. And I'm not here to encourage, but times it is so annoying for a wife. Do you think it is easy to marry? Do you think it is easy? At your age, you've not hired a room. At your age, calculate your age. Have you been able to hire a room? No. A man will hire a room, furnish it, work, save money to marry you. And the result and the benefit is that the wife does not respect. She gives you cheeky answers. Whatever you say, she will answer and say something in return. I hate a wife or someone who talks back. Because myself, I don't do it. So I hate it. And we are not saying that the wife too must keep quiet for the husband to intimidate or to be bitter. When you marry, you've not bought the soul or the person. But we are making reference to a wife who does not respect. Why? Because the parents did not make time to teach her good morals, good attitude. This is to reinforce in them during teenage to young age. When they are with you, it's when you have to inculcate these values in them. They are with you. So it is your duty. The child must learn how to kneel, to beg. You don't force someone to forgive you. You do not know the quantum of the crime or what you have done. So teach this child to allow the person to forgive him at his or her own free will and not by compulsion. 2, the R means reformation. We are on the acronym T.R.A.I.N. The first is time. The 2 is the R, reformation. Transform the children through improved conditioning. Transform the children through improved conditioning. And conditioning means to train them to become fit, not misfits. We are on the R, reformation. It means to transform the children through improved conditioning. And conditioning means to train them to become fit, not misfit. We have most children or many children who are misfit in societies. They are misfits. Practically, they can do nothing on their own except their parents are there. They will not stay with you forever. Do not keep them dependent on you or on yourself all the time. Go and listen to my intro. You hear all this things there. Improved conditioning. To train them to become socially fit, not misfit. Reform them through enculturation. Enculturation. You understand enculturation? We mean to teach them traditionally or to teach them traditional content of a culture and assimilate or integrate its practices and values in them. That's the essence of enculturation. You have to enculture them. If we're trying to teach them the culture from your hometown, if we're in Ghana, you teach them Ghanaian culture. Wherever you are, teach them the culture. You don't greet another person by wearing a cap. It is gross insolence. You don't eat with your left hand. You don't even talk to someone with the left hand or give something to someone with the left hand. Even sometimes you say sorry, it means that maybe your right hand is busy or something. So even in teaching, I try not to use my left hand many a time. That's what I'm saying. That when the camera is in the selfie mode, you will see me using my left hand, but rather it is my right hand because the camera was in selfie. That's why today I've done it. So it is good to talk to people with the right hand than the left hand. Ideally, that's how it should be. So pardon me in case I've been using my left hand often than the right hand. All this information and enculturation to teach them the traditional contents, what they must know, and content of a culture, and assimilate or integrate. So which means they must form part of it. They must be in them. Its practices and values. So that in future, when you send your children to a village, they will not disgrace you. Some were lucky to travel to the city, so they are living all their life in the city. You mean the mother and the father. They have refused to tell their children about their culture. When you are visited by your grandparents or people, let's say relatives, it's when you see your disgrace. That a full-grown child knows nothing. He or she knows nothing, and it is a shame upon you. When you send them to the village, they know nothing. But there is your roots. That place is your roots. And for sure, they are also from there. Why have you refused? Do you feel shy to teach them your native language, your customs and values and others? Do you feel shy? But when you die, these children will go there to bury you. And that is where they also come from. Sometimes even if you die abroad, they transport the corpse to your native hometown to bury you. You cannot hide your roots. Acculturation. Already I've mentioned enculturation, we have acculturation. Now what is acculturation? The process by which a human being acquires the culture of a particular society from infancy. Acculturation. We have enculturation and acculturation. The process by which human being acquires. So you acquire the culture of a particular society from infancy. We are Ghanaians. That's what I'm saying, that you don't greet. So me, I don't wear a cap at all. The cap and the one that you cap. No. The one which resembles a helmet. I won't wear it. You see me wearing, rather I wear a hat. You see the round one. Sometimes when I'm welding, to prevent dust and some sparks and sparks burning my hair and my head. But I don't wear a cap because my father taught me that each time that you are going to greet the elderly, you must officially lift the cap entirely before you greet. What if you forget it? How do you see the sentry? They go for awards by wearing the cap. They are talking to another person, they are wearing the cap. And they think that it is respect. Let me tell you that if you are going for job interview or any gathering and you wear a cap to sit in their midst, it means you are a villager, barbarian. You come from afar and you have no civilization. They must be taught traditionally, equipping them with all the necessary values, customs, and exceptional behavior. You equip them. So if that the training is not teaching, you equip them with the vital values, customs, what they do, what are the core mandate of the society, where you are going, this tribe, what do they do, what do they want, how do they want it, and exceptional behaviors beyond human understanding. Indeed, this your child was or is well brought up. Then you see that you become so happy. That's what you are looking for. That someone should come and tell you that, oh, indeed, your child has been well trained. That's all. This is all the God that the parents are looking for. And then nothing else. I, inspiration. The I is the inspiration. Of course, train is 5 letter words. I is inspiration. Be a perfect role model to inspire them. Be a perfect role model. Are you a drunkard, a gambler, womanizer, an alcoholic, a gossip, manizer? Do you quarrel? Are you an occultist? Wife bitter, husband bitter, children bitter? Now what are you? Be a perfect role model to inspire them. The children are more happier when they see that their father does a decent work, the mother does a decent work, than being a foster. A father who cheats. Some fathers have cheated to make money now, and now they brag of being rich. They cheated their friends, their business partners, their own brothers, their own friends, and now they are on top and they brag. Your age mates, they are waiting and they will tell your children when they are grown. Yes, they will call them somewhere and tell them that they will narrate your road to your success, and from then they will desist to respect you. So you don't understand why your children, they are not respecting you, because your colleague who knew you has narrated your bad deeds to your child, and he will never ever value you again. You become worthless in his life. Be a perfect role model to inspire them. Who is a role model? It's a person of achievement, true, legitimate means, or of high moral standards. That's the meaning of role model. A person of achievement, true, legitimate. That's what I was asking. Did you bully someone to gain your wealth now? That was illegitimate. It was an illicit and illegal. So you say that a person of achievement, true, legitimate means. You don't gamble to build a mansion. So your children are having their own room, your wife, yours, big hall, and a whole lot. You don't steal money from your workplace to build and brag that your uncle was the chief, your uncle was this. So therefore, by corruption, they maneuver and then you are there, occupy someone's position. Now you are rich, so you are bragging. This is not the person that I'm referring to. Someone who was genuinely employed, and then you are making genuine money. Not someone who has bypassed elsewhere, someone who joins Freemason at midnight, then they meet, and daytime they appear to be angels. My friend, don't fancy people who are rich almost all the time. Some are genuine, some are true illegal means. You see? Now, if you're a chief of a community and they're doing recruitment, your duty is to recruit. If your native or relative does not qualify, you don't force this person to go and learn the trade for about 2-3 months and then employ him. When someone is fully into the skill, he has gained about 4 or 5 years experience because of corruption and bribery. Oh, okay, we're going to recruit in 5 months' time. Then he sends his own relatives. the nephew, the nieces, to go and then learn this trade. Fast. So you see that they are all there. So nowadays you go so many companies. If the company belongs to the government or someone, but you find full tribe, full relatives, the uncle, the wife's sister, the wife's brother, sister, blood. They are those, so they speak their own language. For example, they are Gans. So if you go there and you are fancy or in trouble, because there is no way they won't even speak English. They will speak the Gan, and you don't know how to speak the Gan. So you become an alien among them. This is what is happening. Do you call this person as a role model? So you saying that a person of achievement through legitimate means and of high moral standards, that is why your children will be inspired. They will be truly inspired wherever they go. At times you are even dead and gone, but your legacy will never fade. It will still be there. You have left an inheritance for your children's children, and some are even able. They are being employed. They are able to be employed because of the good name that you left behind, the legacy that you left behind. You help. People of different areas. You might not know where life will lead you. Once you're on pension, virtually you have no influence. Those that you helped, those that you planted, they will now be bearing fruits. So, your name is what? Atta. So Atta. And which Atta? My father is this. Mr. This Atta. Oh, okay. Then they'll be helping you. Now, if I'm wicked, then is where you see. That's the meaning of the inspiration. You lived, or you are living as a perfect role model. Someone who didn't like bribe and corruption. You are surviving through the God's way. Giving them praises when praise is due, and encouraging them or encourage them. You have to praise your children. When they do something good, you motivate them. It could be gifts. You buy them gifts. Try to motivate them. Say some kind of encouraging words to them. Oh, you have done well. Your food tastes nice. Don't discourage them. I don't know how to cook. You and my wife, I can no. Your child has sketched something, beautiful or not, accuracy or precision. Try to encourage. When they do something in the home, when they scrub the bathhouse, when they do something in the home, try to encourage them. They must be motivated to unleash their hidden talents and abilities. By motivation, they unleash their hidden talents and their abilities. When you discourage them, you bury their dreams. So that was the I. The last one, N, nature. Direct them through the right teachings into becoming responsible adulthood to old age. Direct them, nature. Direct them through the right teachings into becoming responsible adulthood to old age. Did you nurture them when they were teenagers or when they were infants? You did not. So don't be surprised with their current behavior in life. They must be trained and taught the principles of life. Life is not easy. Life is not easy even for animals. So how much more human beings? Household chores. You must teach them how to clean, how to wash, how to bath, how to read, a whole lot. Academics. You must teach your children in the home. Help them to do their homework. Teach them how to do homework. Let them know that when they come home, they must show to you the work that they gave them than you going to search from their bags. It's wrong. Unemployment. Why are they going to school? In future, they must be employed. Why are they learning the trade? In future, they might become masters and work on their own. So it could be government work or self-entrepreneur. At least these are basic principles of life. We must all go to school. We must all work. We must all marry. They must be punished for offenses. Yes, by correction. When they offend, you punish them. You must discipline them. No mercy. Don't compromise. And if you don't punish them, if you spread the word, you are destroying them. But not harsh punishment of draconian type. Not wicked punishment. We say draconian. So we say that they must be punished for offenses, but not harsh punishment of draconian type. Not so wicked. You cane this child and the whole place, I mean the person is bleeding. You slapped him or her and then 1 ear is not working. No, it's wrong. Minimum punishment. However, when there's the need, when there's the need to cane him, to cane her, to see some bruises, or you must do it. When he's becoming aggressively stubborn, then that one you can do it. At least by seeing the scars alone will signal. But once again, not draconian type. So these are the meaning of the acronyms: T.R.A.I.N, time, reformation, acculturation, inspiration, and nurture. I. The 15 precautions of train up the child, or you can say the 15 precautions of, or you can say on train up a child. What is a precaution? The word is precaution. So pre plus caution. So it's a compound word. Okay. Pre means before, and caution means to be alert. Precaution. So precaution. They are alertness, or they are the actions taken in advance to minimize a possible danger to the engineer, the doer, or the operator. So precaution. These are things that you must tell your, or what you must know before they grow. 1. As a pregnant woman, you are not just an incubator. You all know incubator. In terms of poultry, it is used to hatch the eggs into chicks. You can be a powerful and positive influence on your baby even before he or she is born. Learning begins in the womb. So you continue to drink while you are pregnant. Continue to take birth while you are pregnant. Continue to quarrel while you are pregnant. Continue to insult your husband while you are pregnant. Continue to sneak to drink alcohol while you are pregnant. Learning begins in the womb. So you are not just an incubator, but rather you could be a powerful influence, a powerful and positive influence on your baby, even before he or she is born. Are you a positive influence or negative influence? You are taking birth while your child is in you. Remember, he eats and drinks what you eat and drink. And the first and best teacher of every child is the mother. Remember, you're going to breastfeed. Learning begins in the womb. So if we're a parent, a mother, and you're listening to me, learning begins in the womb. You are not just an incubator. You are not just. But you can be a powerful and positive influence on your baby even before he or she is born. Whatever you do affects the child. That's why if you go for antenatal, they teach you the food that you must eat, how to walk, do exercise, how to sleep, a whole lot. Whatever you do has an influence on the child. Learning begins in the womb. 2. Begin to teach. For children begin early to sin. This one was said by Charles Spurgeon. Charles Haddon Spurgeon. Begin to teach. For children begin early to sin. Oh, I'm waiting till he grows. Yes, I was mentioning that teaching and training are not the same. But God is not preventing us from teaching. The teaching is found also in the training. The teaching gives way to the training. Now, a child who has not been taught basic household chores, how can he even go to a boarding house? Being a teenager, because you're going to scrap the washroom, to bath, to wash your own clothes, a whole lot. Sometimes to cook and eat. These are from the teaching. That's why we say that. Begin to teach for the children. For children begin early to sin. Precisely even in God's word. Before you are aware, he smokes secretly or she smokes secretly. He could be a lesbian, yes, no, gay, and the girl too can be lesbian. Young age, 10, 11 years. Some began to smoke at the age of 5 years, and now they are tobacco addicts. There's no way they will stop until they die. Now, 3. Children must be taught how to think, not what to think. This one was said by Margaret Mead. Children must be taught to think. Teach them to think, not what to think. You brought them into this life. Teach them how to think, and not what to think. So, are you to teach your children how to think, or they are doing what they want? Once again, we are saying that the acronym THINK means that thinking hard inspires new knowledge. Thinking hard inspires. So you are to teach them how to think, not what to think. 4. A good education begins at home. A good education begins at home. That's why I'm saying that in the beginning it is teaching. And teaching is a process of educating people. That's all. Point 4 says that a good education begins at home. So from the infancy, begin to teach them. Try to educate them. You cannot blame a school for not nurturing values in your child that you have not instilled. How is that my business? How often or how long or how many hours do I spend with my students or my learners? Maximum is 8 hours. From 8 to 3 o'clock or 2 o'clock, they are gone. They stay in the home with their parents than with their teachers. A good education begins at home. What did you teach him or her when he was an infant or toddler? And teaching, once again, is the process of educating a person or people. Did you educate your child when he was young? Did you educate him how to think and not what to think? You cannot blame a school for not nurturing values in your child that you have not instilled. So that was your own duty. The school will teach few. The more are done in the home. 5. Keep bringing babies to church. At times you go to church and children are disturbing. They are roaming, though it is not good, in fact. And when you send your child to church, the best is that you can sit maybe, and not entirely at the back, but maybe in the middle, closer to your door, and have yourself water, biscuits, what the child may need, than to leave him to roam to distract attention while worship is ongoing. However, children are children. They love to play. They will cry. They don't know that they are even in the church. That's what I'm saying, that initially we teach than to train. They're not aware. They are unconscious of where they are. There was a time that I picked a public transport, and then the children were doing their homework in the bus. I think the elder was about 12 years. There were 3 of them. They were all doing the homework in the car. I told the maid that the children are going to alight at this, because when I took the car, I heard the elderly saying that we will alight at this segment. So when we reached there, I told the maid that they were going to alight. They were still doing the homework in the car. Otherwise, before they will be aware, then they have passed their junction or their community to different places. Keep bringing babies to church. The crying is not a nuisance. We have all been children before. So what we do is that the parents are seated closer to the gate, so that if the crying is becoming excess, then off you go. They are not distractions. They are not distractions. So don't think that they are there to distract. Sometimes in the public car, when the nurse mother is in and the child is crying, then the passengers are annoyed. Sometimes by force the mother has to alight because they're crying. And I wonder, don't they have children in the home? Won't they get married and also give birth in future? Sometimes we try to accommodate, okay? If it worry you, you put your earphone on. And when I was coming to the house this week, in the car, a child was seriously crying behind me. They were seated at the back seat. Straight then, I inserted my earbuds. Than to be annoyed and insult the mother that your word was the same. No. She was crying directly in my ears. So the noise was unbearable. So I just had to insert my earbud. And off we were going. I had to alight, then they continued their journey. Okay. Children are not distractions. A church without children is a church that will die out before long. You have no future. The future of the church are the children into youth. So if you are avoiding them, and you are hereby informed that as you keep on sending them to churches, with time, even though they are infants, or maybe they are toddlers, one day you see that your word will be singing, or maybe conducting. They'll be conducting in the form of a funny manner where you will even start to laugh. Sometimes they try to mimic what is the children, and you cannot underestimate them. They will learn something that you are not even conscious of. So you sit them, maybe if there's a marker board and marker, they go and pick. They will try to imitate some few things that they could capture, and it's good. And one day, maybe on one Sunday or maybe on any other day, your child may go and pick the Bible. Mommy, daddy. Then he or she give you the Bible to tell you that won't you go to church? May go and bring you your tie. Means that put it on, and means that he or she has seen you that anytime you go to church, you put on tie. And this is a joy that lo and behold, my child is gradually trying to observe. He is imitating a preservation and a participation. 6. So we are still on the point 5. A church without children is a church that will die out before long. It will soon die because the old are dying. They are going and dying. So who is going to substitute them? 6. Educate the children, and it will not be necessary to punish the men. This one was said by Pythagoras. Educate the children, and it will not be necessary to punish them. Yes, if you don't teach them well, they will end up in prison. So there's the punishment. In jail. Now, to be killed by hanging, they could be killed by armed robbers because you did not inculcate any values to them when they were infants throughout their teenage and then a young age. That's why the man is saying that educate the children and it will not be necessary to punish the men. 7. Children have never been very good at listening to their elders. At times, you're talking to them and they're not listening to you. You're trying to train them, they have refused to be trained. You are trying to educate them, they have refused to be educated. You continue. But they have never failed to imitate them. This one was said by James Baldwin. Children have never been very good at listening to their elders, but they have never failed to imitate them. One day we'll go and pick a cane and then we'll start to cane the wife because he has been seeing the father caning the wife when she offends using the cane. Or maybe if there are two, one will pick the cane to cane the other. Or sometimes you see that they will mimic exactly your behavior when you are annoyed. And you marvel. If you are there, you marvel. So that's why they are not listening to you, but they are trying to imitate you. 8. Let's see what was said by L.R. Noss. He said that one day they will walk in your shoes. One day they walk in your shoes. Haven't you seen your child trying to wear your shoe before? As big as the shoe is, which is a small foot and feet, he or she tries to wear it. That's the beginning of walking in your footpath. One day they will walk in your shoes. Make sure they are pointed in the right direction. When you smoke, they will peep as you are smoking, and you never know. So whatever you do, for children, they are very smarter. They learn so quick that which you are not even aware of. Sometimes they even know how to unlock your phone. So it means that as I've been unlocking, they peep. They learn through peeping. They know how to on the TV, how to use the remote, how to a whole lot. One day you come and then he has climbed to sit on the freezer, on the table, and you can't even imagine how he or she learned. What did he or she do to climb this height? At times you go and you find that the person is in the fridge. A child who is crawling has learned how to open the fridge and he has gone in. If you're not careful, sometimes they even go into the washing machine. And before you are aware, he has even dodged in the tie, where the car tie is. If your car is very big, so that they go and hide there. So before you start the engine of a car, you have to take time to watch. They are just disturbing. Children are just disturbing. If you are not careful, they wound themselves. And when there is a wound too, all the burden will come on you. They learn so fast. Through peeping, the word is peep. They peep. One day they walk in your shoes, make sure they are pointed in the right direction. What the Nigerian will say. What Nigerian will say, direction. And the direction. 9. Children who never have to earn anything will appreciate nothing. Let them be active participants. You are the store. Sometimes you have to go with them. I'm not saying that you have to also involve them. In fact, I myself, I don't like children who start early trading. I don't like it. I just don't like it. But there's nothing wrong when you go to store with them. At least as I see they are playing. Sometimes maybe you are selling maybe rice, so they can be given a poison bag. So you package the rice and then he or she gives you the poison bag. they are being active. You are at a shop, so they can be doing the packaging. When the person is good, when this child has been taught computing, then he can be entering to print the receipts. Children who never have to earn EARN anything will appreciate nothing. Say, hey, mommy, so this you do this work all by yourself? They say yes. They say, oh, mommy, sorry. That's why when you come home, then you are so exhausted. He or she feels your pain, and she learns or he learns responsibility from there. That hey, from now onwards, now not be destroying the milk, now not be misusing. Now you understand why you have to beat him for exposing the bread. The bread, when it is exposed, it will cake. It must always be kept in the plastic, or maybe in the fridge. He has now understood why you have to beat him for destroying the grass cups, for breaking them, because you struggle so hard to earn money to buy. Sometimes you queue to pick a car home. Sometimes the sun was so scorching, and you were walking in with this your child. Sometimes you were beaten by the rain. Let them be active participants. However, I hate the child labor. As you see me, I hate it. So I'm not saying that use your children to make money. No. Me, as you see me, there's no way I'm going to send my child to go to room and serve. I'm not condemning, but I will not do that. To train a child to become responsible is not always about sending this child to go to room to serve. No. There can be a station, maybe some table, then he or she can sit and serve. Even that one, I still don't like it. Because for children, when you do that, I see that you are teaching them to become covetousness with money. 10. Activity is the only road to knowledge. This one was said by George Bernard Shaw. Activity is the only road to knowledge. So we mean role play. You are reading and then he or she is also reading. You are cooking and the child is also assisting. You are washing, the child is also assisting. You give him or her some portion to work on. Hey, from today onwards, your work on every Sunday morning is to sweep the corridor. Then the child will appreciate it. And the child will learn some sense. Your sweeping was not good, so sweeping it was. So it means that you are teaching the child how to sweep properly, how to iron, how to wash the utensils, a whole lot. 11. It is not what you do for your children. You buy them cars, you send them for shopping, to excursion. It is not what you do for your children. You build them mansions, bought them, or you buy them expensive gadgets. But what you have taught them to do for themselves, that will make them successful human beings. This one was said by Anne Landis. It is not what you do for your children, but what you have taught them to do for themselves. You always go and work for them to eat. When will they also go there to? Some are even desperate to go with you. How they wish to see how you read, to cultivate the crops. They want to know it. They just want to capture it. By so doing it will even help them in the school. When they are asked to describe maybe how to plant and those stuff, that you have made them timid, you have isolated them. But what you have taught them to do for themselves, that will make them successful human beings. My dad taught me how to work. So we the brothers in the family, we are not lazy. Likewise, the females, we all prefer to work. And as you see me, I love to work a lot. Now 12. So send your children to work. Teach them what you are also doing. If you're a master, you go to, we are still on the 11. If you're a master, if you're a welder, teach your child how to weld. If you don't care whether the child will be using it as a profession if you or not, you teach, because you might not know where life will lead this child to. Who knows? Maybe it can be used as a hobby, part-time work, or in future when the gate has rusted, he can use the machine to weld on his or her own. You must teach the trade of the family to the child. Do not exempt them. That go to school, go to school. Yeah, it is good to go to school. Teach him what you know. Who knows? Maybe this, because he can do something with his own hands, and then he is going to appreciate it. And this will make him to succeed easily in life. Point 12. Give your children your praise rather than your condemnation. I think this has been said, that trying to inspire them. That's the acronym T.R.A.I.N. The I means you try to inspire them. Trying to inspire them. So encourage them. Give your children your praise rather than your condemnation. Because it is human nature for people to live up to the reputation that others give them. Yes, it is good to encourage them. Your child has tried to do something, and then you are more experienced. So by all means, what he or she is doing will not be equal to what you have done. Remember, every master was also a beginner. You also began somewhere. Try to motivate him than to condemn him. You kill down the spirit. You kill down the spirit. 13. A child educated only at school is an uneducated child. We have already said that. Educate them in the home. Charity begins at home. Education begins at home. A child educated only at school is an uneducated child. He will know nothing. Try to teach him from the home before he goes to school. So the home and the school, they all have a role to play. Because the child cannot become a responsible adult just by being trained by the parents. The school too will have to reshape him. 13. Books are for the children of brain. This one was said by Jonathan Swift. Books are for the children of brain. What do you understand by this? Try to let them learn. How often do you don't even have a library in your home? You don't have a library in the home. How will they learn? And how can you distinguish between a child who will love learning and a child who will dislike learning? Books are for the children of brain. Once you have seen that, they are, because they want to be engineer, start by giving them books to read. Let them read earlier, from the early stages, so that they grow to become so intelligent. Then the last one, 15. Encourage your child to walk their path. Don't force them. I am a welder, so you should also be a welder. My duty is to train my child in welding engineering, of course, and then fabrication. But I'm not going to force him to do welding by force. As he's going, I think by being a teenager, he can balance his life of pursuing the welding, the mechanical engineering, or the fabrication aspects. Even if you want to move into different fields, I will only act as a mentor to him, to teach him the right path. Now, if you forbid and there are problems to you in your future life, I care less, because I want, and then you didn't pay heed to the instructions. Encourage your child to walk their paths, to follow their hearts, to be guided by their dreams and inspirations, not by the expectations of who you desire your child to be. Tracy Smith. So she's a woman, I'm sure. The white and the name, but I'm sure that this one is a woman. Encourage your child to walk their path. to follow. You can encourage your children to walk their path. This one is a quote, so I don't want to alter. She said, encourage your child to walk their path, to follow their hearts, to be guided by their dreams and inspirations, not by the expectations of who you desire your child to be. We have so many parents who have been forcing their children to choose what they disliked, and the end was a disaster. Allow him or her to pursue his own career, to follow his heart. Mom, my desire is to become a pilot. Fine. If you have money, she proceeds or he proceeds. If there's no money, but sometimes when the family is having a trade, so it is advisable that the child should school with respect to the trade that the parents have already started, because it is not easy to find a work these days. For example, if I'm in case of my own company, now I think my children should pursue engineering, so that before they are done with education, there's a work there waiting for them. They can come and then take over for me and even expand the company. However, if I sit you down and dislike it, I won't force you. But in future, don't blame me, because I will go and pick someone else's child to train to become the MD, the CEO. And there's no way you will go and then quarrel with him or fight with him, because you don't know what he's doing there. So don't force your children to like what you want. So having said that, we are saying that, by conclusion, teaching is the process of educating a child, and training is the method of acquiring skills, knowledge, or experience. It is also the method of imparting knowledge and acquiring skills. So teaching and training are not the same. So this is the end of my presentation on Train Up, or the concept of Train Up. Next week will be episode 3, biblical perspective on single parenting and parenthood. Genesis 2 verse 24, Matthew 19 verse 5, Ecclesiastes 12 verse 1, Ecclesiastes 4 verse 9 to 12. So next week we're going to learn about parenting and parenthood, and which of them is ideal as we read the Bible. So biblical perspective on single parenting and parenthood, Genesis 2 verse 24, Matthew 19 verse 5, Ecclesiastes 4 verse 9 to 12. My name is Joseph Fata, and the program is Mining for the Truth. Until then, see you next time. Bye bye.